When an avoidant realizes you've actually given up, you won't see panic. No big dramatic moment, no breakdown. What you'll actually see is 5 stages, back to back, and most people only ever catch the first 2. If you've spent months reaching out first, planning around their moods, explaining yourself over and over just to be met with distance, and then one day you just stopped, something did shift. But what happens after that isn't one thing. It's 5 stages, and only the last one tells you anything real about who you were dealing with. Today, I'm breaking all 5 of them down. Stages 1 through 4 look pretty different from the outside. But stage 5 is the one that actually decides everything. So stick with me to the end for that one. Stage 1 is numbness. This is the nothing happened phase. And it can last a lot longer than people expect, sometimes weeks. On the outside, it looks like total indifference, maybe even relief. Internally, it's denial. Their brain treats your distance like a glitch, not a pattern. They're being dramatic. Give it a week. They'll be back. They always come back. Here's the tell. If someone's actually starting to register the shift, you'll see a flicker of discomfort somewhere, a pause, an off comment, something small that breaks the everything's fine act. But if all you get is louder, more aggressive casualness, extra jokes, more activity online than usual, like they're performing being okay for an audience, that's not numbness wearing off. That's numbness with the volume turned up. Don't read performance as peace. Stage 2 is protest. Numbness cracks, and the system tries to fix the gap fast, usually without the person even realizing that's what's happening. This is the random text out of nowhere, the like on a photo from a year ago, showing up online at 1 a.m. after 3 weeks of complete silence. Here's the reframe. And this one actually applies to every stage after this, too. Someone actually trying to repair things will say something that names what happened. I know I disappeared. I'm sorry. That wasn't fair to you. But a casual, hey stranger, with zero acknowledgement of any of it, isn't repair. It's a reset attempt. It's not about you specifically. It's their system trying to get back to normal without doing any of the actual work that normal would require. Stage 3 is disorganization. And this is the one almost nobody names, even though it's where the real cracks start showing. This is when their usual story about themselves, I'm fine, I don't need much, I move on easily, stops adding up. And they don't have a new story to replace it with yet. This can look like asking mutual friends strange questions about you, out of nowhere. Reaching out to old exes, not to get back with them, just for context, almost like research. Suddenly being way more reflective than usual, or way more chaotic, picking fights, changing plans constantly, restless in a way that doesn't match them at all. The reframe here matters a lot. Someone moving toward growth starts asking real questions, even uncomfortable ones, about their own part in things. Someone moving toward defense builds a story instead, usually one where they're the victim and everyone always leaves, without ever asking why that keeps happening to them specifically. If what comes out of someone is, I always get left, that's not insight. That's avoidance wearing a sad voice. Stage 4 is despair. And this is the closest thing to real grief an avoidant lets themselves feel. Researchers who study adult attachment describe avoidant patterns as a set of strategies for keeping feelings at a distance so they don't become overwhelming. And despair is what happens when those strategies finally crack under enough weight. When there's been enough time and enough silence that the usual tricks just stop working. From the outside, this looks like withdrawal, going quiet on social media, lower energy for a while, maybe even looking visibly off to people who know them well. Here's the reframe. If this grief is actually being felt, it doesn't get hidden again right away. There's a stretch of time where they're just not okay, and they let that be visible, even if they don't talk about it directly. But if the sadness disappears just as fast as it showed up, and they resurface a few weeks later acting completely normal, like nothing happened, that's not grief that did anything. That's grief that got buried. Again, the same way it always does. And now, stage 5, the one I promised, because this is the stage that decides everything. Before I get into it, I want to be honest about something. If you're watching this and thinking about someone specific, there's a good chance they're still somewhere around stage 1 or 2. Stage 5 can take a very long time to arrive, if it arrives at all. So don't watch the rest of this and assume it's coming for you specifically. Reorganization is what happens after the grief settles, one way or another. And this is the stage where two completely different people can look identical for a while. Person 1 has actually done something with everything that happened. The piece they show isn't pretending, it's processing. If they ever come back into anyone's life, what you'll see is consistency. Small, boring, repeated actions over a long stretch of time. Not one big gesture meant to make up for everything at once. Person 2's old strategies just won. Their piece is relief that the pressure's gone, nothing more than that. If this person comes back, it'll follow the same shape as before, intense at first, fading the second things get real again. Here's the actual test, and it's the only one that matters out of all 5 stages. Someone who's changed lets their actions build trust slowly, without asking you to just take their word for it. Someone who hasn't will ask you to skip that part entirely. That's the whole difference right there. None of these 5 stages are something you're supposed to use as tools to win someone back. They're not a manual. They're standards. Standards for what real change actually looks like. So a temporary reset doesn't get mistaken for someone genuinely showing up. You can know all 5 of these by heart and still walk away at stage 1. And that's not giving up too soon. That's just knowing what you're worth. So, quickly, numbness, protest, disorganization, despair, reorganization. And reorganization is the only one of the 5 that actually tells you anything about who someone really is. If you've ever wondered what was going on in someone's head after you stopped trying, send this to them, or to whoever you were thinking about the entire time you watched this. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.